Welcome, everyone. We are live. It is Tuesday. Yes, it is, isn't it? It is Tuesday. Oh my goodness. I almost didn't know what day of the week it was, but alas, it is Tuesday. I will read for you an excerpt from the Kabbalion, because we study the law here. It says, to destroy an undesirable rate of mental vibration, put into operation the principle of polarity and concentrate upon the opposite pole to that which you desire to suppress. Kill out the undesirable by changing its polarity. This is one of the most important of the Hermetic formulas. It is based upon true scientific principles. We have shown you that a mental state and its opposite were merely the two poles of one thing, and that by mental transmutation, the polarity might be reversed. This principle is known to modern psychologists, who apply it to the breaking up of undesirable habits by bidding their students concentrate upon the opposite quality. If you are possessed of fear, do not waste time trying to kill out fear, but instead cultivate the quality of courage, and the fear will disappear. Some writers have expressed this idea most forcibly by using the illustration of the dark room. You do not have to shovel out or sweep out the darkness, but by merely opening the shutters and letting in the light, the darkness has disappeared. To kill out a negative quality, concentrate upon the positive pole of that same quality, and the vibrations will gradually change from negative to positive until finally you will become polarized on the positive pole instead of the negative. I thought that was pretty straightforward. So let's put it into, I suppose you could say, layman's terms. Where you put your attention upon is how you polarize yourself. Literally speaking, where you put your focus. So if you want to, because we tend to, if you say you want to get rid of something, we complain, oh, I don't like this, I don't like it. But you're still polarized in that direction. So you will still deal with the effects of that place that you're polarized at. So in order to move from one place to the other, you turn your attention towards that which you want to become instead of complaining about that which you no longer desire to be. You're just polarizing yourself. You're moving yourself from one place to the next. And it's all mental. The movement is mental. Because remember the principle of gender, that mental aspect is masculine. You can't see it at first. But the more that you polarize yourself in the direction you want to go, you will begin to embody it, which is feminine. One of my favorite things is this little excerpt. Just as the skilled swimmer turns this way and that way, going and coming as he will, instead of being as the log which is carried here and there, so is the wise man as compared to the ordinary man. And yet both swimmer and log, wise man and fool, are subject to law. He who understands this is well on the road to mastery. Look at what it's saying. Skilled swimmer. He goes with the current. He doesn't fight it. He goes with it. This is how he wills himself to be. Instead of being like a log goes wherever the current should take it. It just goes wherever. But the wise man, compared to the ordinary man, and yet both swimmer and log, wise man and fool are subject to law. So whether you are going with the flow by your will, meaning you turn yourself in the direction you want to go in, or you are unwitting and you're just going like the log, you're both subject to law. No one escapes law. And that's what the beauty of it is. The beauty of it is that all are subject to it. So this is what is telling you that comparison is just foolish. All people are subject to law. So there's never a need for you to say, but this person's better than me. No, no one's better than you. You're not better than anyone. We're all subject to the law. So we bend, we move, we shape ourselves accordingly, which tells us that anyone, you can become whatever that is, so long as you apply yourself. You have to apply it. And how does one apply it? Just like the excerpt said, you polarize yourself. Remember what polarity is. You're moving from one stage to the next, right? You're moving from one stage to the next. A spectrum, if you will. And if you say, oh no, I'm afraid, well, along the pole, along that spectrum of fear, depending on the intensity of your fear, you'll experience those things that are related to fear, because that's where you've put yourself. But now, if you polarize yourself in the direction of courage, you now experience the things that are coming out of courage. There's boldness, there's confidence. You experience those things. In order to experience the things along the line or along the polarity of courage, you have to mentally turn yourself towards. And I like the way that Neville Goddard says it. He says, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. So he's saying to you, instead of complaining about the thing in your life that ooh, bothers you, look at it. You see, because that's where you're polarized. But he says, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. So he's telling you to polarize yourself in the direction of who you say you want to be. Because then you polarize yourself in that direction, you begin to experience those things. But you have to lean there. You have to lean there in that polarity. You don't just go there once and say, oh, look, I've polarized myself. For how long? You polarize yourself because that's where you want to stay. But everything moves. Nothing stands still, so you can't remain in that polarity indefinitely. We move. But you can train yourself to constantly be polarized in that direction. Now, you've been in a room or a space where there is an opinion and half of the room is on the left and the other half is on the right. Well, the room has been polarized. But don't get it twisted. They're both fighting for the exact same thing. They're both fighting for the same thing, even though they appear to be opposite. So we get to see polarity at work in many other ways throughout the day. So which one will you be? Will you be the skilled swimmer and direct yourself, meaning you are deliberate in your actions, deliberate in your mood, or will you just be noscient? You don't know, you're just unwitting, you're just going along with, oh my God, what's happening to me? I feel like the universe is against me. Are you going to be that person? Practice using the principles. Now, I know in the Kabbalion it says it's direction of the will. You use your will. What is your will? Your willpower, where you deliberately put yourself. Your will. Deliberately put yourself there. You see, in traditional Chinese medicine, the will, the intellect, that would be, I'm trying to remember the best organ. The will and the intellect. Kidneys. But the more you use your will, you deplete the organ. So that should tell you something. This is why Neville says use the imagination, because it cannot be depleted. This is where you come back to the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. You go to the imagination and you begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That does not necessarily take your willpower. You don't have to apply gentle force to imagine. You don't have to apply any force to imagine. Imagining is easy and effortless to do. You're just in there and you're like, isn't it wonderful? And you begin to see in your mind's eye who you want to become, what you would be doing in a typical day if you became that person. That is so fun and simple to do. The will, on the other hand, oh man, I gotta do this again. Ah, fine, I'll do it. So when you hear people say they're tired of trying to change, that's because they're using their willpower. They've almost come to the end of it. They're depleting themselves, which turns out to look like worry. I think it's a very interesting phenomenon, actually, where we think we're using willpower, but you're just worrying in general. You're just worried. That's where all your energy is going, is into the worry, instead of using the imagination. So you see, you and I are all subject to law. We are subject to law. We are polarized, we move, we have rhythms and patterns, cause and effect, vibration. We deal with it every day. But the key is to deliberately practice. If you are looking at something in your life that you no longer want to participate in, what are you going to do? See, this is what it comes down to, knowing what to do and doing it. Whatever the situation is that you face today, it does not matter what that situation is. It is subject to law. You know what that situation is. So now you've acknowledged it. Now polarize yourself. What do you mean, Angela? Right now, you are presently polarized in the direction of your problem. It's all you can think about. It is all you can see. It brings you panic. It brings you worry, frustration. You are polarized in the direction of your problem. See, but every cause has its effect and every effect is cause. So your problem has a solution. To polarize yourself towards your solution, because you know your specific problem, well, then you know the solution. Let me give you an example to help you out. If the problem is you're barefoot, the solution isn't cheese. The solution is shoes, footwear. If you are cold, the solution is not an umbrella, it is warmth. So, whatever your situation is right now, if you're jobless, your solution is gainful employment. Is it not? Right? So, whatever that problem is, you're polarized there. But the solution is where you polarize yourself. And to make it easy, you begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality. And it is mental. And so now you've moved yourself mentally from the problem, from the polarity of your problem, towards the polarity of your solution. You begin to go through all of the things, and you'll land on one of them that feels most natural to you, that you would be doing. The most natural thing. It's only one of them that you'd be doing, right? So if you say, well, I don't have a job, but my ideal job would be this because, this, I like doing these things as a job. When you start polarizing yourself towards that, you begin to see the many things that you'd be doing, but there's one thing that will stand out to you the most that you would be doing. And you polarize yourself there. And when you polarize yourself there, now you begin to move to bring about that fulfillment. Because it already does it itself. You just move along. Neville Goddard calls it a bridge of incidents. You just move along in that polarity, experiencing the things that you have just imagined. And you see, we live in a world that is very, very slow. Yes? Matter is slow, it moves very slowly. And so sometimes things are instantaneous. Other times, some things take a little bit longer. For instance, I was watching this lady and she had something that said, oh, I'd like to try that. I just said it in passing. "Oh, I'd like to try that." 2 weeks later, I got to try the same thing for free. I got to try the same thing. And all I did was say, hey, I'd like to try that. And I just went about my day. Some things happen faster than others. Other things take a little bit more time. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 would tell us that every vision has its appointed hour. It will ripen, it will flower. If it be long, wait. It will not be late. But you see us as people, we repolarize ourselves in the direction of the problem, thereby delaying ourselves. Your concern is the solution, not the problem. Problems, solutions alike are subject to law. If you are polarized towards your problem, you will experience all the things that go along with the problem. If you're polarized towards your solution, then that is where you will experience things along the polarity of your solution. You and I get to decide which direction we will polarize ourselves in. That's it. Where do you want to? It's like the sun. Isn't it nice when you turn your face towards the sun? It's warm. Because we know, at least for me, winter's coming. And when you get outside in the morning, which reminds me, I had to scrape the car yesterday morning. Frost. I wasn't ready. I was not ready to scrape the car. So that means I'll have to leave a little bit earlier. But we are going into that season now. And it feels good to turn your face towards the sunshine. It's warm. So when you turn your face towards the solution, it has the same effect, you know. It refreshes, it revitalizes. It brings peace of mind as an effect because you're towards the solution. There is no angst or fretting or worry in the face of the solution. So this is why the barometer of feeling is important. You use it to show yourself, what direction am I polarized in? It's as simple as that. So today, as we go out into the world, remember, whether you know and apply the law or you live in ignorance of the law is irrelevant. Each man is subject to the law, good, bad, or indifferent. So don't think for a moment that this person is better or this person is worse or this person is whatever. No, no, no. You don't have time for that. If ever you get the urge to compare yourself to someone, look at their mindset and let that help you out. If you get the urge to compare yourself, you shouldn't, but in case you do, it's not about, oh my God, they're so much better. No, no. Look at the mindset. Is that person focused? Is that person driven? Is that person, what are they? Well, then, likewise, look at yourself and go, wait a minute, am I focused? Let me hunker down. Let me focus. Let me be more deliberate. So, as you and I go out into the world today, take stock of where you're polarized. Just look at it. Acknowledge it. And if you say, well, I've dealt with this thing for far too long. Listen, it could be 50 years. It could be 40. It could be 80 years that you've been dealing with, quote unquote, a problem. But all things are subject to law. And the only reason why that problem persists is because you are polarized in that direction. That is the only reason why it persists. That's the only reason. So, change your polarity. Give your attention over towards the man or the woman you want to become. And you rehearse it every day. You keep yourself habitually polarized towards who you want to become. And when you become it, don't you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, How amazing! It really, really works. There are no surprises. If you polarize yourself towards the wretched, well, darling, what do you expect to happen? You polarize yourself towards the good, what do you expect to happen? After all, you would not polarize yourself in any direction unless you knew the turnout. Huh? Think about that for a moment. You and I polarize ourselves towards the solution because we know that the solution is inevitable. And we know that the solution is the solution and how it feels. That's why we so quote unquote desperately want to move ourselves from the problem. So then the solution is no surprise. It is to be expected. That's why you spend this time to turn your face towards your solution. But Angela, you make it sound so simple. It is simple because when you start doing it, you'll see how easy it is. The simplicity of a thing is there to help us. Can you imagine if there was like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this, you got to do this, and it can become overwhelming. But the simple things are easier to apply. So if I tell you, stop complaining, it's not because I don't want to hear you bitching and moaning. That's not it. We all have problems, yes? It's not that I don't want to hear about it. But if you can comprehend what complaining does, it keeps you polarized there so that you suffer the consequences of it. And that is not what you want, because that's why you're complaining, because you don't want that. So instead of complaining about your problem, polarize yourself towards the solutions. So you don't have to force yourself to not complain. Turn yourself towards your solution, and complaining stops naturally. So you see, my beautiful friends, practice. Who's on time today? Oh, I am on time. Yay. Let's welcome everyone, because I trust that it makes sense to you and that you will apply it. And the easiest way, Neville Goddard, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. Say it another way, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you solved your problem. What would you be doing if you solved it? That is the art of polarization, my friends. I love the way he taught it. The art of polarization. The better man is here. Welcome, dearest. It is always a pleasure to see you. Always. Twitter is as Twitter is. It's for the replay gang. Fan base, who's kicking it with us today? Big Mike is here. I know Casey was here. I can't see her anymore. Um, I don't know if Miss McQueen is here, because I usually see my regular people. Ray Ray is in the house. Summer Rose is here with us this morning. Honey is here. Um, Briley is here. You are new to me, Briley. Welcome, Briley. I'm reading your thingy here. It says the poor get richer just because the poor get richer just because the poor think every opportunity is a scam. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Mindset. They think. Mindset. Mindset. Mental attitude. Mental mood. Mm-hmm. Think. Oh, good, indeed. Thank you all for being here on this lovely Tuesday morning. I shan't hold you up because I am on time. And you know I have to scrape the car. Oh, I'm not ready. Ah, fall is upon us, and frosty mornings are upon us. And so every season that we go through has its perks, you understand? Fall is encouraging us to, like the leaves would do, let go of the things. Because you let go of them, it doesn't mean that you die, darling. The trees don't die. They let go of the leaves because they have less exposure to sun. No photosynthesis is required because now they're dormant. They're slowing down their process to preserve their energy, aka hibernation. Remember, the principle of vibration tells us that everything moves, nothing stands still. So even though the leaves have fallen, the falling leaves drift by my window. We did that song in jazz class. But even though those leaves fall, they're falling because the preservation of life for the tree. And it slows down the process. It hibernates. Now is the time to hibernate and to take stock so that whatever is not necessary, or those old habits that you no longer want to use, they will fall naturally when you retreat to the inward, when you retreat inward to say, this is where the peace is. I will rest here. And you don't have to fight to drop your habit. You make your new habit one of turning within to rest, to rejuvenate. And the old things pass away for what? They wither and die for want of attention, as per Neville Goddard. See how easy it is? Then we practice, my beautiful friends. Learn from the seasons that are around us. What if you don't get seasons? Yeah, you do. Oh, sure, you're in the tropics. You get seasons. We still get seasons. We get a rhythm. We either grow or we rest. So just pay attention to that which is around you, and you will see the law at every turn, because everything is subject to law. And when you see it, begin to apply. You know, scripture says to be ye imitators of Christ. Well, if you imitate the seasons, you're following principle, you're following law, because everything is subject to law. So if you imitate, if you look and you say winter is coming, it is a time for quiet reflection. And that's what you do. You quietly reflect and you take in who you want to be. And you allow it to, like your garlic. You plant your garlic right about now. Garlic likes to be cold, so you plant it now and you cover it over to trap some of that warmth. And in the spring, that garlic will sprout. Be like garlic. Plant your desires and yourself in fall. And just allow yourself to be in the womb so that when comes spring and the warmth hits you, you become who you say you are. Everything has its appointed hour, right? I trust that it makes sense for you today. And you know I love you. My DMs are always open. Um, I'm going through the list of all the people who pre-ordered their cards. And on the 10th, I will get online and send those cards out. Yeah. So as long as you make sure that you've got that address into me, I will get that done for all of the people who pre-ordered their cards. And if you haven't pre-ordered your cards, you can actually purchase them now. That link is in the description of my YouTube video, and it is also on the link on top of the fan base page. So that deck is just brilliant. I love it. It keeps you in line with law every day. You pull one, and that's what you meditate on. And every day you become more and more deliberate, developing your own self, your own inner self. Because that is the point after all. Your inner being, which is you. Yes? Anyhow, let me go feed these chickens. Because he actually beat my alarm this morning. My alarm goes off at 4:30. Oh, my feller started singing at 4:15. I said, oh, hello, good morning to you, son. Yes, yes, he did. And he always sings so beautifully. I said, wait, isn't he early? And when I looked at the clock, I was like, no, he's not. He is right on time. Best alarm clock there is. Yeah. So anyhow, I love you all. And you know I will see you on the morrow. Wednesday. It's double shift day, Wednesday and Thursday. So we're getting there. And if you have questions, slide into my DMs and we'll connect. We'll connect. If you say to me, Angela, I get it, but I don't. I kind of sort of, but I don't. Because I always tell you, I don't need to know your business. I don't need to know your information. Just apply the principle to the situation. But some people, they want to tell me the situation because they think it will help me to give them a more detailed explanation of the law pertaining to that situation. And I make time for that because I understand the necessity of it. You know? But I don't need to know your business. You just need to know what it is you want to become. And we'll apply the law from that end. Yes? Why? Because if you keep talking about what your problem is, that's where you're polarized, then what's going to happen? That's what I thought. Right? Where you're polarized is what you experience. So we use our time to polarize ourselves in the direction of the solution. But that, Ray, but the thing is too difficult or challenging to seek a place to hibernate. Hibernation means you go within. The problem is external, right? Because you can see it out there. But to fix it is internal. So you go within. You just go within. That seems so cliche and corny, go within. It just means you spend time quietly. Just sit and breathe. Just sit and breathe. And you will, once you do it, you'll understand. Just sit and breathe. And every time the mind wanders, bring it back to inhale and exhale over and over again. Don't care how long it takes you. It'll stay where you put it eventually. Don't fight it. Just gently bring it back. Remember the baby? Yes. The baby wants to go towards the stove. What are you going to do? Kick the baby, holler at the baby, shake the baby? No. Just gently bring the baby and put it where you want it, in front of its toys. Over and over and over again. And then that baby will sit in front of its toys and play with its toys. And it will look at the fridge every now and then, but it won't go because you've conditioned it to stay where you put it. That is how you go within to hibernate. Just focus on the inhale and the exhale over and over and over. Sit up and do it, because if you lay down and do it, you will fall asleep. Don't ask me how I know. Anyhow, I was on time, but I'm still in the window. I love you. Oh, my apple butter. I gotta go downstairs and see and make sure all the containers have sealed. Oh, oh. Listen, it tastes so good. That apple butter tastes so good. Yes, it does. I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. So I just got to make sure the containers have sealed, because then they'll be preserved, right? They'll last longer, and I put them in the fridge. Mm. Oh, I am ready to have some apple butter on toast this morning. Hello? Oh, yes. Those apples come in handy. And you know I'm making uh, sparkling apple cider, right? Non-alcoholic, of course. So I'm fermenting the apples. Ooh. Oh, yes. They are doing lovely as well. So, yeah. Anyway. I love you. And I'll see you on the morrow. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Fanbase. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Let me do that. Closed. And